The S&P 500 today took an absolute hit. We saw stocks across the board start an initial crash to the downside, seeing a downside of around 10 points on SPY, and that's not even from highs on the day. It's also worth mentioning that right now, this could be a spark of a new quote-unquote coronavirus, or that's what the fear is being pushed across the market today. And that's really what we're talking about specifically as we jump into this and the expectations of what's happening, where the buying opportunities lie, and what I'm doing in the market right now. So here on the day, you can see that we kind of opened up, started pushing up locally to around the 610 level, opening the market up and just kind of coming straight to the downside. You also see here on QQQ, the NASDAQ tech heavy names that have really been carrying us, breaking down very strong as well from around the give or take 534 area all the way, 538 area, all the way down to 526. And again, you're coming into this level here near the 50 MA across the board when we look at futures and what's happening across the board there as well. Now, the question is this over with? Is this the downside that we've seen? Is it wraps, right? Now, I think it lies what's happening as far as the fear and what's being pushed. Now, I'm going to attack this in a few different ways. And again, I'm just telling you what's being pushed and what I believe is dropping the market based off of these reports that were coming out. So I'm not going to go into this long detail, but is a coronavirus belonging to the whatever group, which it also includes a virus causes MERS, whatever, right? This is what was really being pushed out there, that there's this new virus in China similar to COVID. It can track and be transmitted through humans. Now, I will also say, this is an important part that, again, wasn't being pushed, right? You see the fact checking on Twitter as well. Researchers added that monitoring the virus was extremely necessary, but it also added its efficiency was significantly lower than COVID virus, and the risk emergence in human population should not be exaggerated. Worth mentioning. Now, I will say we haven't seen any direct statements from the US regarding this, but definitely started hitting headwinds with the market. Now, a few points we'll also add in there as well is when you look at SPY and what was happening over the past week, and I'm careful when I'm talking about volume in the market, because I think sometimes people jump to conclusions where you need a very high amount of volume in order to get a movement, and that is not necessarily true. But what I will say is in the month of February, you can see your volume number over here on SPY. It's been very low. Your highest day was February 3rd, the first day of trading, at around 66 million, right? Shares traded back and forth as far as volume. Today was your second highest day of 64 million. So we were seeing a pretty slow grind into all-time highs for equities, right? And then today, obviously on the downside, they say bulls take the stairs, bears take the elevator. And today they definitely took the elevator, getting a significant increase of volume on the downside. So definitely worth mentioning and worth tracking here when we go back into what's happening on SPY. So will I say that this was just a pullback? I don't want to jump to that conclusion and just say that right now. Because when we look at what was happening with the levels that we had to break, you can see, and this is a 1 hour time frame, you were making lower highs, you broke out, you pushed in all-time highs. So you were definitely moving in a very strong fashion here. You also were holding previous all-time highs made from December 6th, December 5th, which was also important. So right now you're dipping back down into that 50 MA. You do have your next level near the 100 MA there as well. Now, again, I like to look at futures more often than not, because I think they give you a very clear notion of what's really happening here. And when you look at the NASDAQ futures from high on the day, even in the pre-market, you hit our key level of 22.25, and then you dropped around 800 points to the downside. Around 650 to 700 points to the downside there near the end of the day, right? You even go into Bitcoin, you see what's happening there, which was really bouncing in the pre-market as well, went into 99K, and that dropped also down towards 94K. There was also a big hack on the exchange of Bybit, which we're not going to talk about today, but that had a little bit of an impact there as well. So we're not just seeing one overall market. That's important to understand. We're seeing it happening on the S&P, on the Dow, on the NASDAQ, and with crypto. The other big part here too is the Dow in general has been very, very weak. The Dow was down, again, you can see right here, your exact amount, almost 800 points on the day. Over the past week, you've had a significant drop. We talked about the pivot in which you were trading in. And again, you can see here, you dropped from highs around 44.7 earlier Wednesday this week. Again, almost 1,400 points from where we were at. Again, the Dow is dropping a lot more rapidly. You're getting below a lot of your major levels here as well, below your 100 SMA and your 50 SMA. So again, a lot of signs of concern there. Again, your ES and NASDAQ have not broken those major levels yet, but this could start unwinding rapidly. So that's why I'm really going over the overall market this evening, is because I think there's some telltale signs right now. Now, a few other parts that I've been talking a lot about here on the channel is semiconductors specifically. I think semiconductors are a large part of the reason in which the market was rallying. When semiconductors perform very well, the same thing with just tech in general, typically the market has its best run, and that's really what's carried us over the past 2 years. So semiconductors today, again, as we go into SMH, and this is a good way to see the rule of thumb of what semis are doing, the semiconductor ETF, again, down $8 on the day, basically. Not a good look. A little bit of buying the after hours, but not a lot. And then when you go into the SMH semiconductor ETF and look here, again, you're at a major support once again, near 249 overall, the 50 and the 100 daily moving average. So I don't find it a coincidence. And I don't find it, that we're just randomly finding a spot here across the board. Something that you're noticing on all these charts is that everything's coming into a major level. So going into Monday morning, I think number one, I really want to be able to debunk this idea that COVID part 2 is coming out. I don't know if we're going to be able to debunk that over the weekend. I hope our government gets in front of it, makes a comment. That's the best thing that could happen right now, and ultimately for this, in my opinion. I don't think you're dropping based off of a trade war or anything along those lines. That is dumb. The other part here too is you can see Moderna and these other vaccine stocks had a really good day as well. So again, that leads me to believe that yes, this is happening based off of what's happening here as well. So again, what do you want to see over this weekend? We would like to see comments from our government, anything regarding this to debunk it, etc. Right? And highlight the actual facts there as well. Again, this is not the repercussions of a trade war, anything to do with, I think, the Trump administration, anything happening across the board there. There just wasn't nothing really said out there that's really causing any downside effects. We have had talks from our Fed this week regarding inflation and the potential pain it could cause over the span of the year and the uncertainty. But again, I don't think that's what's hurting the market right now, because that was all said previously before today as well. So again, the only real news that came out today was what was happening here. Now, again, I think everyone's going to formulate their own opinions regarding, is this FUD? Is this just news coming out? And again, I think you're not going to be able to give an educated opinion on day one. But what I will say is, if hypothetically, let's play the game of what if COVID part 2 happens? What if there's a mass hysteria and a mass fear across the board? And SPY continues to drop and NASDAQ continues to drop, etc. First of all, I don't assume it would be as sharp as a previous COVID. I just don't think that would happen. But the other part of it too is dips like these, I want to preach one thing: provide big opportunities. That is the number one thing they do. On this channel, we've talked about a lot of stocks over the past 2 weeks, right? Semiconductors, cheap names like HIMS and SoFi, Alibaba. We've talked about a lot of big names, right? And a common denominator here is everyone wants to buy these names like Palantir, right? Everyone wants to buy Palantir at all-time highs. But when you start to see some downside and weakness, we lose the excitement of buying the names. And when you think about it, that's the polar opposite of how it should be. You should want to buy these names when they're cheaper, with the idea that they're going to go back into their highs, perform like the good stock that you believe they are. Because hopefully, if you're trying to buy Palantir, you think it's a good stock, or you're trying to buy Nvidia, or if you're trying to buy HIMS and HERS, whatever it may be, right? And this is that opportunity, right? We bought HIMS down here at $45, and guess what? You went to 70. Now go look at the comments on previous videos of everyone wanting to buy it around $70 and $60. But now for some reason, no one wants to buy it as it's pushing back down to 50, right? We go look at Robinhood. Everyone wanted to buy it when you were at $66, but me saying, hey guys, it's stupid. Wait for it to dip and get an opportunity. But now no one wants to buy it here. That's the idea of what you have to, and I'm not telling you to go buy these names. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm telling you right now, buying it down here at 51 is a much smarter idea than buying it up here at 64 at your local high or 52-week high. 100%. You already would be up 10 to 20% if you would have bought it at highs, if you bought it right now. So that's how I'm thinking about these things as well, is not only looking at, okay, this is some downside potential, but the other part of it is like, okay, well, how am I going to capitalize? What are the top names that I want to be watching in this market? If this does keep dipping, what are the names that I really want to watch for? I need to find out where these supports are, what levels I need to be watching. So ultimately, I'm ready to take advantage of the opportunity that's in front of me. And again, you might see some videos over the weekend that are pushing, a narrative or this or that. I'm not trying to push a narrative. I'm trying to just say of the concerns, where we're at, what could happen, but ultimately stay ready for the big opportunities in front of us, right? A few things that I want to highlight here. And again, I get a lot of harp on these, right? But a few days ago, I posted a video going over, I believe it was MicroStrategy and crypto stocks. And, I got some hate on it, right? This was the video. Go check it out. Ticking bomb right here, MicroStrategy. And a rule of thumb that I always push here on the channel is if you want to go short on a really weak stock. If you want to go long, go long on a strong stock. What does that mean? So when I'm looking throughout this week, I've been saying I think the weakest names out there are crypto related stocks. And in that video, I said, I've already been making a lot of money shorting Coinbase. If you're in Discord, then you know. Like Coinbase, we've been going short on this thing since it broke below 280. You're down at 235, breaking every support you have. You go into MicroStrategy, again, you're losing your 100 SMA on the day. Your next stop is 281 to 284, right? Have a plan so when these things happen, you know where to execute, where to start taking advantage of, and where the money-making opportunities are. So again, not just the upside, but also the downside as well. You got to look at the market from a viewpoint of how can you make money no matter what? How can you be ready for any type of opportunity if it comes in front of you? And again, that's the only thing that I try to push on this channel for you guys. And sometimes, I'll have more fun videos. I'll have better opportunistic videos. I'll have big buys like, Alibaba. Again, like Baba's one of my top buys. It's one of the only stocks that didn't dip today. I've been telling you guys, probably my stock of 2025. Funny enough, it's to do with China and it's not even dipping here on the day. But again, it's just being prepared for those opportunities in front of you guys. And I think that's the biggest thing right now. So you guys have questions, comment down below. Let me know. I'll try to answer your questions the best of my ability. Also follow on Twitter. Again, we post all day long on there as well. So you guys can stay up to date on the best charts, things we're looking at, different opportunities. But again, the point of the video today, keep your hand on a swivel, stay ready for the opportunities. Because again, more and more opportunities are to step in front of you. And when you see dips like this, you should get excited. The dips should be the most exciting moments for you when you're trying to trade, swing trade, invest, whatever it may be. Because those are the times that you want to buy, and those are the times you make your biggest trades and the most money 9 out of 10 times. Follow for more content. See you guys later.